Hey, everybody. This is Philip W. I know it's been a long time since I've even made a video. I've just been very busy and I've been basically getting my life together. I no longer live in the state of Indiana. I actually live in LA now. I live in California. And in case you guys haven't noticed, I have a new look. I have a nose piercing and I have a lip piercing. Now, I'm still trying to get used to this because sometimes when I eat, it like sometimes catches onto the bottom of my lip, and then like I have to talk a certain way so that it don't feel weird. But overall, like I've been doing like really good. I've been like watching YouTube videos on how to suck my piercings and all that. But so far, it looks like they're all healing well. But the main reason why I made this video was because there was a question that was asked on Twitter. And the question was, it says, let's talk. Do you give your all into relationships or do you leave room for disappointment? I wanted to make a video about this because this question really struck out to me and I can resonate with this so well because of all the things that I've been doing in my life. I'm 29 years old, it's a new year, and I'm about to be 30. And first and foremost, when people ask questions like this, I always feel obligated to speak on it. And I feel obligated to speak on this because, first of all, when it comes to relationships, at this point, I feel it's a damned if you do or damned if you don't. Because relationships are very difficult. And the reason why I say it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, because based off of everything that I experienced and all the drama and everything I experienced in my relationship, it's like if you give your all to a person, you end up getting hurt. You get taken advantage of. You find out things that you didn't think you would know. And then if you don't give your all into the relationship, then your spouse starts to question you. You're all of a sudden the asshole. You're the bad guy, yada, this, and that. And then if you try to balance things out and if you try to work out the problems, then all of a sudden they don't want to meet you halfway. And then if you start to question them on certain motives that they have or the intentions that they have, then all of a sudden you're insecure. So you can't ask them too many questions. Then if you give them too much freedom, then all of a sudden they start doing things they have no business doing. They talk to people they ain't got no business talking to. They start texting a whole bunch of people, having a whole bunch of people on their phone. Then if you don't give them too much freedom, then all of a sudden you're boring. They're saying that you're not giving them enough attention. So it's just like no matter what you do, it just seems as though you're not good enough. And one thing that I learned about my past relationship, we were together for 4 years. I say about 4.5 years. And one thing that I learned, and actually one thing that I regret, is how I talked to that person and how I reacted to that person. Because sometimes when you are in a relationship with a person that is very difficult to be with, which I'm not shifting on the blame on that person because there were flaws about me that I haven't yet mastered and overcame. But I think when we both got in a relationship with each other, we both had our own inner saboteurs that we were trying to tackle and deal with. So a lot of times when this person did things to me that I didn't like, sometimes when I would get angry at the person, it really didn't even have nothing to do with that person. Most of that anger may have came from a lot of built up anger that I may have had towards other situations in the past, or that person may have did something to me that reminded me of how hurt that I was at one point. And it just got to the point to where it was just an up and down roller coaster, and I got dumped like so many times in the relationship, and the person just finally told me they didn't want to be with me no more, and yada. And I just learned that when when there are certain signs that are thrown in front of your face, you need to realize those signs. So when a person wants to walk out of your life, That's basically a sign from God telling you that maybe that's not the right person for you, because God is always going to give you signs. And I'm not trying to get all super religious with everybody, because I know some people are not really that much into religion. But when you see signs, you have to be smart enough, and you have to use really, really good discernment and good judgment to be able to tackle it head on, and to be able to decide on whether or not something is worth pursuing or not. But everyone balances their lives out in different ways. And I have been basically living my life off of inner intuitions, and I've had a real strong relationship with God. The biggest thing that I learned about myself and that I've really overcame while being in my previous relationship was the fact that when something is done towards me, or if somebody does something to me that I don't like, instead of getting angry, I've learned to actually channel my emotions and to actually speak how I feel without getting angry. And I've been basically building myself up for that if I ever get into another relationship. I've been building myself up for that. The biggest lesson in life that you could ever learn is mastering your own self-craft. Once you master your weaknesses, and once you learn to be able to excel yourself into the future and know who you are as a person, then you'll be a lot better off. And a lot of people don't realize who they really are until it's too late. And it took me, when I was in my earlier 20s, it took me all the way up to now, age 29. It took me all the way up to now to realize the things I needed to get better at. The biggest thing, like I said, I've gotten better at is how I talk to people. Because I am the nicest person in the world. Because at one point I was a nice person, but then I went through a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of people ran over me, and they took advantage of me, and they did a lot of things towards me that were very terrible, which I won't really get into. I think that's for a whole different video. And it took me years to get over it. And every once in a while, I may find myself like trying to revert back to that old me. But then I always remind myself that, I'm here for a reason. So that's just something that we have to know about ourselves. We have to constantly remind ourselves that we are people that were put here for a purpose. And I just want people to know that regardless what you're going through in life, there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. Because I was one of those people that wanted to give up. And even now, to this day, I still have hardships. I still have times where I'll get a little frustrated about certain things that's not going right in my life. But then you just have to realize that no matter what you're going through in your life, you got to keep faith in yourself. You have to love yourself enough to know what's best for you. And you can't allow anyone to dictate how you should live your life. You have to have the power over yourself to know that you are good enough, and you have to strive to be the best that you can be. Strive for your goals and strive for whatever your dreams are, whether you want to be a dancer, a model, an actor, a chef, a doctor, a bus driver, whatever the case is. It all depends on you. Like, It doesn't matter if you don't have the money to get there or if you don't have the right support. You have to be your own cheerleader. And I know that's going to hurt, but a lot of times when we're put in situations, it's basically God telling us, hey, maybe we're in this position because maybe God wants us. Maybe he wants us to depend on ourselves. Maybe he wants us to find that strength in ourselves. Maybe he doesn't want us to depend on other people. So it's just different situations for different people. Now, I'm not saying that God purposely puts people in situations, but I'm just saying that sometimes God allows us to end up in situations so that we can realize our own self-worth, so that we can realize what we are truly valuable of. I lived in the state of Indiana from the time that I was a baby all the way up till 29 years old. I just moved to LA in November. It took me, I want to say it took me about 4 years to really get myself together to move down here to LA. And even though I'm really struggling right now financially, at least I'm in a place where I'm happy at. I'm in a place where I want to be. And that's what I'm mostly happy about. And I want people to see that no matter what position you're in, if you really put your mind to something, you can really make something work. You can really make it work. And I hope that I can inspire other people. I mean, I'm planning on releasing my autobiography, and I'm still trying to pursue my music career. Now that I'm actually in LA, I just got to find the right connections. I'm trying to pursue acting. I'm like a lot of other things, but I'm just doing things one at a time. I just want to be an inspiration for other people, and I want people to be an inspiration for themselves, and we can all be inspiration to each other, and learn from one another, and just take things with a grain of salt, and just learn as much as you can, because I wish that I could have had someone in my corner to tell me, Philip, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. You just got to love yourself. You just got to find that strength in yourself to push forward. If I had somebody to tell me that, it probably wouldn't have took me all these years to get balance. But the good thing about it is I have a family that was always supportive of me, but I didn't necessarily have anyone in my corner that was telling me. I had my mother that was constantly coaching me. So she was part of the solution, because she was talking to me. I was going to her for advice and things like that. But even though she gave me so much advice, it's like I pretty much had to take the other step. So it's like you have your support system that's pushing you out there, but then it's also up to you to continue to push yourself out there. Like, it's like up to you. It's mostly up to you to make a difference in your own life. The people that support you, they are basically the spider web that you fall in to support you, to keep you above water so that you don't sink all the way to the bottom of the ocean. That your support system is the spider web, but you are your ladder. You are the one that's going to push yourself up just above that little hill, just so that you can make it to where you got to make it to. And I just want everyone that's watching this video to know that you matter. You are amazing. Believe in yourself, and don't ever let nobody tell you that you cannot do nothing. Don't ever let nobody tell you that. I'm getting emotional because, like I said, it hurts when you finally realize that you could have been so much better off. But the good thing is that you're still here. So I hope everyone gets inspired by this video. Oh, and by the way, RIP to Kobe Bryant. He also made me realize how precious life is. His death also made me realize how precious life is, and that also made us realize how our lives can end in a split second. So don't take life for granted. Just do you and do the best you can do. Make the best of it. Because God is always going to be by your side. He's never going to give up on you. If you have a good heart, he's never going to give up on you.